Welcome to the Leader's Edge podcast. I'm Sandy Laycox, Editor-in-Chief of Leader's Edge. In this episode, we turn once again to Associate Editor Chris Hann in his most recent Personal Alliance interview with Jacqueline Roth, Director of Employee Benefits at Bolton. They discuss her early days as a voice in student government, the importance of communication and listening to the brilliant people around us, as well as her thoughts on moving the industry forward. Let's take a listen.
We are here with Jacqueline Roth, who is the Director of Employee Benefits at Bolton, based in Pasadena. And thank you for being here. I want to ask, are you a California girl at heart, or did you grow up in California?
No, I grew up actually in Nebraska and Northern California. So very from an agricultural community to start. And I came to California, Northern California, when I was 8, and then went to school in Southern California.
Okay. All right. So your family moved when you were quite young.
Yep.
All right. And I saw in some of your biographical material that you were elected student body president at Champion Christian High School. So I have to ask, I dove deep here, Jacqueline. I have to ask, do you recall what exactly was your campaign platform?
Oh my gosh. I love this question. I remember part of my speech saying, I can't promise you cupcakes on your desk every morning, but what I can promise you is I will be your voice and I will represent you. And it's the only part of my speech I remember. I just remember wanting to represent a broader community at a really young age. And I loved that we got a period to just talk about what the students cared about. So I guess it started young for me.
That's a great message to send, a very inclusive message.
Yeah.
Honest. Cupcakes every morning. I like that. Yeah. Did you aspire to any higher office beyond school body president at your high school?
I went on to Azusa Pacific University for undergrad. I was a major in communication studies, and I was in student government in college as well. And I was the office manager, and I was kind of nervous to run for office in college because I thought, I just don't know enough people yet to rally the votes. And so I interviewed for a position because I thought, I think I'm a better interviewer than I am, whip votes kind of gal.
Okay.
Yeah. Then when I found out that you could actually you could earn more money and also influence people in different jobs on campus, then I moved to admissions and started, giving families tours.
Okay. So you're still using, or you were still using all of your political acumen that you've had accumulated to that point.
All of it.
So when you moved to California, where did you move to?
We moved to Chico, California.
Oh, okay. And why Chico?
Well, I think my parents at the time, they brought 3 girls ages 8, 10, and 12 to California, and they wanted the least amount of impact, the most comfortable transition possible. And I think Chico is as close to Nebraska as it gets. It's
what do you mean by that?
It's just it's such a warm, welcoming community, a lot of business owners, a lot of agriculture, a lot of small town feel, but still having a college in town so that we could go to sporting events and be a part of that bigger community that was important to my parents.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a great town. It was a very comfortable childhood, getting to, run the streets until dark and city programs and stuff like that.
Okay. In some of your biographical material, You mentioned that you have a passion for communication. So tell me about that. Where did that come from, and how does that manifest itself in your work?
When I was really little, my parents told us girls, you each have different gifts and you each have a different calling to do something in the world. And we don't know what it is. That's up to you to figure that out and decide. And we're here to nourish it, shape it, water, whatever that is. And so I think I knew at a young age, I loved getting other people talking. I loved knowing where they came from, what they did all day, how they got what they wanted in life. And so I think I knew that at a young age. And I I got a lot of positive reinforcement for being able to say things succinctly. I, I can certainly ramble. And I've learned that I have this belief that you can say just about anything if you say it well, if you have built in a trusting relationship so that people hear you and give you the benefit of the doubt when you're communicating. And I think that I had the chance to try that out as one of three siblings a lot as a kid. And so I think for me, when I was thinking about college, I thought there's no other degree for me to pursue. I know business is the most logical, but I will learn business wherever I go. And I want to figure out how do I learn the skills to be the most effective communicator I can possibly be. So for me, I think I've had investment at a lot of the places where I've landed professionally. I think I've had the fortune of just being in a constant state of learning, whether that's on my own, whether that's with other people in a classroom environment. I think the world is our classroom. I think we can learn every day because if you look around, there are brilliant people all around us. We have to be curious to lean in and listen to them so that we can learn from their stories. And I think the rat race of life can be all consuming and we forget to look up and look around and just listen to people. So the game of communication fascinates me because it can open doors that I think we never thought were possible in terms of employment, opportunity, earnings, activities, how we want to live our lives.
What strikes me is that you kind of had this figured out. You had figured out the value of communication at the age of 18, and it's probably something that took me about 60 years. So you had it figured out at a very young age in terms of why it's important and how you can apply it anywhere you would go in your life. So that's interesting to me.
Thank you, Chris. I hardly had it figured out. I had a ton of positive reinforcement. I've learned some things by risking out loud where I've, crossed boundaries that I didn't know existed and had, suffered some of the consequences of, oh, yikes, I didn't realize I was pushing it too far there. And I think some of those lessons I did learn pretty young. So the boundary is a funny thing to think about with communication. I when you watch people risk certain things and they get, slapped back, pushed back, you see a conversation and you're watching it and the sender and receiver just totally miss each other. I think there are just case studies everywhere in communication. And if we can just stop and not take it personally and look at what happened there, why did that conversation go off the tracks? I just think there's so much wisdom in tiny moments like that.
Yeah. Well, and you had the awareness to understand the concept of boundaries as opposed to exceeding a boundary and not realizing you were exceeding a boundary. You talked about leadership before and how important it is and what a topic of interest it is for you. So I want to ask, with regard to your own management style, can you think of 3 words that your coworkers would use to describe your management style?
I think they would say that I am clear, that I am enthusiastic,
That's a sure one.
and lastly, I think they would say, what's a word that's in between pragmatic with a stretch? I think they would think I'm reasonable. Um, Reasonable and aspiring. I think, as a leader, I always want to see where we can not drive to do better, but where we can exist and be and bring out natural qualities in ourselves and live fuller and richer. And in the overflow comes how we take care of other people.
The business leadership lessons that you apply in the office, do you see yourself applying them at home?
We've had such awesome coaching throughout Bolton that after so many rounds and exposure to so many, ideas and philosophies and theories, some of them just plant in you and they become just your language. They become part of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see this, but my coffee cup says clarity. It's almost a joke because we'll say constantly in emails to each other, I need clarity. I need more data is what I'm saying without sounding like a jerk. I need information to understand the why here. And things like language around what's the goal? What are we doing here? Because I need to know if we can validate why we spent this time on that. And if there's a goal, I can either check the box or not check the box, but I'll know, did we hit it or did we not? And so much of life, we're looking back like, was that useful? Was that good? Was there a point? The less wandering, it helps us live with a little bit more assuredness, I think. So my kids say funny things that I look at my husband like, oh my gosh, they're repeating something that I said.
They're
My
listening.
my 5-year-old, well, she turned 6 yesterday. She said to someone, I had a colleague over on Friday afternoon for a meeting that we did in person, but at my house. And she lives a few blocks away, so it's convenient to do that sometimes. And she came in and my daughter was playing with a toy and she said, oh, where'd you get that? Is that for your birthday? And she said, no, I set a goal and this was my reward. But don't worry, it was a big goal.
Your daughter said that.
And we both looked at each other and cracked up. Like they hear you and they're sponges for the language. And so
Yeah.
she's a goal setting 5-year-old. And I think
Wow.
she's that one, Liliana, she's pretty compassionate and tender. When I hear her get firm with a goal, I just die. I crack up because she's a lot her dad, but her language sounds like her mom.
That's great.
The 9-year-old that's a 10-year-old, when I hear her say things in the backyard with neighborhood kids like, no, we're going to put a chain together. We're all going to have different jobs because then we can do it faster. Then we can do it better. Then we can. So I hear her ordering things and I just go, oh gosh, what will they do with their lives? Who knows?
That's a future student body president there, I believe. Tell me about what you'd like to do when you have your downtime. What's a perfect weekend look like for you?
Oh, a perfect weekend for us is definitely some degree of hosting. There's not a weekend here at our house that we don't host something. It's either college students, business associates, clients, family, friends. Somebody is always at our house. And I love a full, active, bustling house. I cook a couple of meals and we enjoy some good wine. Maybe we make s'mores. I'm definitely challenging somebody on the Peloton for a long weekend ride, probably to something that is not rated PG. So I have to put headphones on so my kids don't hear some of the terrible language in the rap songs that is so fun. And going on a walk around the neighborhood, going somewhere new. We can't travel every weekend, but we definitely try to take advantage of living in such a pretty place that we like to get out and see new places, discover new places. That sounds like a really busy weekend. We can't pick all of that.
It's one of those 5-day weekends.
It's a long weekend, yeah.
Okay. If you could change one thing about the insurance industry.
We have so much progress to make when it comes to women in roles of senior leadership, executive leadership, and sales. I told these eighth graders there's so much money to make in the world. Just how do you want to make it? How do you want to earn it? And I think if I could wave a magic wand, I would create more diversity in our industry, not simply in entry level positions. We have to be better at growing and grooming talent and finding it in different pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I keep recruiting people that look just like me, I'm part of the problem. So I think we have a long way to go. I'm optimistic that because we're talking about it, a goal is present. There's knowledge, I think, and conviction that we've got to be better. We've got to be better at figuring out how to look like our buyer. And our buyer, they don't all look just like me, and they don't all look just like my CEO. They look like people from different faith backgrounds, different walks of life, different skin, different language. So how do we get better at finding them? I think we have to be intentional about where we're hunting for people, where we're looking. What we're doing is we're asking our employees to help us solve some of the challenges that we face in talent recruitment, which is identifying people that don't come from, my neighborhood or your neighborhood. It's looking for people at colleges outside of our neighborhoods and looking at where can we bring people into the industry. And if we bring in diversity at any level, step one is getting people that don't just look exactly like us. Step two is how do we identify high potential people, invest in them, train them, give them language to succeed, help them sit at a corporate table and feel comfortable being there, and knowing that what they have to say and what they have to add helps us be better, because we need to continue to change our view of how we see the world. And so step one is finding the talent. Then we've got to hire that talent. And then we've got to know how to groom and develop and grow and really invest in that talent, because people are built for learning. We have to find them first and give them the opportunity to learn. So I think it's an industry opportunity. It's a problem we're solving. That's language we use. Is it a problem? Because there's a lot of problems in the world. Is it a problem we're solving? I think, yeah, it absolutely is.
That was Chris Hann and Jacqueline Roth, Director of Employee Benefits at Bolton. Thanks for listening, and check out the rest of our podcasts at leadersedge.com.